Okay, so getting the most out of your relationship, if you do hire a copywriter at some point, you want to make sure that you get everything you can get out of it, get the best copy possible. So here's, try hands off, but don't disappear. Let them do their job. If they're a conversion copywriter like I am, we are going for the same goal as you. We are going for your KPI. What do you want? What you're trying to get? If it's more leads, something like that. Think of it as a strategic partnership, and a lot of why that comes to be is because when we look at the data, what the customer's saying, it might not be what you thought it was all about. Maybe it's something different. And if the data says one thing, but our expectations are different, keep an open mind on that. I don't personally know any copywriter who doesn't want to be the reason that their client is making tons of money. This is what we eat and sleep. What we eat and sleep thinking about how to make that happen. So partners rely on each other. So don't go in the other direction either. Don't just ghost it and say, well, call me when it's finished. There will be times where we might want to fill in some gaps, something's not making sense, or need some more information on something. So it's like a partnership. So you got to be there for each other, and great things will happen in the end. So when you finally get the good copy ready, you've been sent to it, here's a big mistake I see a lot. You rewrite it yourself without testing it and right at publishing time. If someone's a conversion copywriter like me, so we collect a lot of data, we also validate that messaging and we test it with users and stuff like that. Everything we do, every word, the length of everything, it's all chosen for a reason. And what happens is the best copywriter, they will present their copy to you. They will go through it with you. And then it's a great time to ask questions, to tell them what you're concerned about, because what you see, like I said, the data may show something that is different from what you thought. It might be the opposite of what you thought. And then that message gets tested as well. So if there is a risk there, it's a calculated risk. That's the best kind of risk to take. Let me just back up for a second. So when you write it yourself, right before you publish it, you're kind of going on your own intuition, which sometimes is not the best way to do it. It's not tested. And maybe, you haven't spent as much time doing copywriting, so it might not be in the best form as well. So try not to mess with it, but talk to your copywriter about it before you need to do that. Show your copywriter before it's delivered. And that also applies to when you're handing it over to your designer, your web designer, or a web developer. Show it to the copywriter. Sometimes the designer does something, they go kind of off and do their own thing. It becomes harder to read. If it's hard to read, we already talked about this, nobody will read it. And if your web developer is writing something or messing with the design and color, that's going to cause a lot of problems too. They should stick to the code and not mess with that. So they might have opinions about it. They might not even value the writing itself because they just don't deal with it. They don't know. That's it for now. That's all, folks. There's a couple things that I wanted to give away, but we can either do questions and answers now, or we can do it after that. What do you think, Maddie?
No, I think that, I just had one comment on the last slide. We don't have any questions right now, but the one comment that I had is, obviously it's a collaborative process, as Michael is saying, it's a partnership, and there is a kickoff period where, there can be an intake that the copywriter provides that says, what are some of your feelings about what you think works? So what copy have you been using, or do you want to test, that you want to explore, that's on your, in your notebook, so to speak? Share that and say, these are the things that I really want to see. How does it go up against, Michael's crafted copy? Michael doesn't care. Is his copy better than your suspicion of what's going to be good copy? He wants, again, as he said, your business to grow as a result of this work. So that's a great time to share all of those ideas that you have, and then let the copywriter fit those into different areas of your website where they make sense.
That's a really great point, and that actually leads to here. So I put together a free guide to hiring a copywriter. It actually goes into what you just said, Maddie. It talks about, we're going to ask you a lot of questions. We're going to want to know what your goals are. It's a more detailed version of this. So there's a link to that. It's free. I can see about dropping that into the chat. I don't know if I could do it from here. Yeah, you can go there and get what you need.